Hello everyone and welcome. My name is Nouha AMRANI. I am PhD student from Sidi Mohammed bin Abdullah University. We are so glad to deliver our presentation in this hybrid conference. My colleagues and I, we will present today our topic, which is about local public action instruments, a cross-sectional look at the Municipal Action Plan of Moroccan municipalities. For this reason, we will proceed as follows. First, we will start by the context, which describes what happened in local authorities' context. Then we will move to the objective and the importance of our work. Then after that, we will present a brief literature review, then the methodology, the results, and discussion. And finally, the conclusion. Public action instruments has been the interest of many researchers for more than 40 years. This interest has been revived in a context of increased decentralization, the emergence of new and social and territorial challenges, as well as the complexification and territorialization of stakeholders. This was an overview about what happened in international context. So now let's move to discover the national context. In Morocco, since the Constitution of 2011 and the enactment of organic law related to local authorities on 2014, local public management has been revitalized thanks to the new principles and tools such as strategic planning and performance-based management. These tools are applied in Municipal Action Plan. For who didn't know what is a Municipal Action Plan, it's a document obliged by the law and elaborated by Moroccan municipalities in order to give more information concerning their projects and how they will act to achieve them. This is why in this presentation we will try to highlight the Municipal Action Plan not only as a legal document which municipalities should have, but also as an instrument for administrating the territory. On the other hand, we seek through this presentation through this work to situate Municipal Action Plan according to the classification proposed by LASCOMS and Legally. The literature review reveals that the public action instrument has been debated from different ways. So here we distinguish between two approaches. The first one is considered as technical because public action instruments are analyzed from pragmatic logic. I will explain more. The author belonging to this approach defined public action instruments by analyzing the tools used and functionalize the conception of public action instruments. So here, the objective by implementing public action instruments is to achieve the economic rationality and efficiency of the government. This approach was criticized because an instrument in public sector isn't only about the cost and benefits. From these critics, the second approach called sociopolitic was raised. It combines what it is political and what it is technical in order to find answers to the following questions. How to adapt these instruments and to integrate them in the public sector, and how to appropriate the instruments by the actors. The objective of this approach is to give to the public action instruments other perception based on managerial logic with special focus on the impact and effects. The authors who have dealt with public action instrument issue in their works have all attempted to classify these instruments according to their way of thinking. But we found that the template of all of them is the classification proposed by Hood on 1990. Hood's classification is based on two logics, detector and effector. Detector allowing a government to learn about its environment, and effector bring together all instruments that allowing the government to act. Starting from these two logics, Hood classified the instruments in four categories: informational, financial, legal, and organizational. Hood's work is considered as a solid reference from which other authors draw inspiration. Namely, John, who chose as criteria for his classification the effectiveness of instruments and their ease of introduction. And other authors like Bellemans, Weidek, Silliman, and Land distinguish between internal instruments that affect administrator and external when they influence the behavior of citizens. And finally, the more recent one, the classification of lascons and legally, which is one of the contemporary approaches interested in the effects of public action instruments without neglecting the political and technical aspects. According to these authors, public action instruments could be classified to 5 instruments: legislative and regulatory, economic and fiscal, conventional and incentive, informative and communicational, and finally the norm and standards. We will focus on 2 dimensions: the conventional and incentive, communicational and informative, because of our research target and because of the specificities of municipal action plan. Our research method is based on qualitative approach in an exploratory way because we wanted to understand the position of municipal action plan as a public action instrument by studying the example of 2 municipalities. The choice of this method is justified by the nature of our research and its objective. Concerning the data collection, we use the documentary analysis of some relevant documents like the official guide of municipal action plan, organic law related to local authorities, and the municipal action plan of 2 cities or 2 municipalities like Agadir and Tangier. We choose these 2 municipalities because we wanted to give an example from different regions, the north and the south, and because these 2 municipalities have a good ranking in terms of local development and in terms of governance also. As a result, we can say that municipal action plan is a strategic planning tool that fits perfectly in the classification proposed by Lascons and Legally. It is a communicational and informative instrument, and we will give here some evidences. According to the official guide of municipal action plan, the implementation process of municipal action plan demonstrates that it is an instrument that relies on classification and democratic empowerment of all actors. Besides, the Municipal Action Plan of Tangier and Agadir demonstrates that the Municipal Action Plan is a foundation of legitimacy by explaining decision and making actors responsible. Finally, we noticed that both municipalities apply strategic planification that show that to what extent the actors are engaged thanks to mechanism of communication used. On the other hand, the Municipal Action Plan is considered as conventional and incentive instrument. Legally speaking, according to the organic law, the Municipal Action Plan should respect the mechanism of dialogue and consultation within participatory approach that allows citizens to involve in various steps. And to be sure of this, we have consulted the Municipal Action Plan of Tangier and Agadir, which prove also this participation of citizens. And the final evidence is from the official guide of Municipal Action Plan, which shows that Municipal Action Plan is an instrument based in involving and forward-looking action strategy, and it's also a process of collective commitment. After this documentary analysis, we conclude that Municipal Action Plan is a kind of public action instrument in local contexts. It is also a framework that connects political and social actors regarding management and administrating territory. And it falls into communicative and informative, also conventional and incentive instruments as indicated by Lascons and Legally. Our research represents some limitations because we can't talk about generalizing the results as we adopt an exploratory approach with some illustrations based on documentary analysis. So in order to ameliorate the present work, it is important to complete the study by empirical investigation. So our presentation came to its end. Thank you for your attention.